Well, thank you. Hello. It's a pleasure to be with you as Canada's Minister of Labour. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak with you. I wish it was under better circumstances, but here we are. And we know we've all been affected by this global crisis, and so working together, both nationally and internationally, is very important as we face the challenges that COVID-19 presents. Across the country, we declared a state of emergency by mid-March, and it has had a strong impact on the Canadian labour market. And the industry businesses across Canada have altered dramatically their way of doing things as a result of COVID-19, and it's had an impact on both employers and employees alike. There's been unemployment increase, of course. Businesses have had to do things differently. A number of them have had to make significant layoffs, and individuals who continue to work had to adapt, whether that was with a reduction of hours, whether it was working from a different place, a lot of people working remotely, others working with personal protective equipment that they've never worked with before. So across the country, you feel the impact in the labor market. But we took immediate steps to ensure that both employers and employees were supported during this very difficult time. We implemented an economic response plan, and this was both to stabilize the economy as well as make it possible for Canadians to isolate. We've committed billions of dollars in this plan, and there's been a number of different measures that are a part of this plan. So one of them was the Canada Emergency Response Benefit. This was one of the first things that we implemented. We recognize that many Canadians are living paycheck to paycheck and relying on that money in order to put food on the table and pay for their rents. So we started with the Emergency Response Benefit, which was a benefit that paid $500 per week for those that lost their work as a result of COVID-19. And this benefit was payable for up to 16 weeks. And so this was not only those who perhaps got laid off because a business, their business had to close or the hours had to be diminished, but also those who were forced to stay home because schools were closed and they had to look after their children, or someone in their home contacted COVID-19. So this benefit was a really important benefit, and a very strong uptake. So over 7 million people in Canada applied for this benefit, and has been processed. 7 million processed applications for the Emergency Response Benefit. In terms of the labor issues, of course, as Minister of Labour, my top priority was health and safety of workers. And so we made a couple of changes to the Canada Labour Code. And one was to ensure job protection for those that lost their work because of COVID-19. We wanted to ensure that their jobs would be protected at the end of COVID-19. And then we wanted to make it easier, so we waived the requirement for a medical certificate, so that we wouldn't overtax the medical system. So this leave is a 16-week unpaid leave, but of course those that were on that leave could then apply for the CERB benefit, and they didn't have to get a medical certificate in order to be entitled to the leave, both for the job protection piece or the emergency response benefit piece. And then we also recognized that many essential service workers had to continue working. And that was very important that we supported them, and that the work that they were doing was important work, but also that they were taking risks with their work in order to provide Canadians with food, put food on the table, in order to make sure medicines were available, in order to provide health care. So the federal government stepped up and committed with provinces and territories to work together to top up these frontline essential service workers to ensure that they were receiving at least $2,500 a month in pay. And it was really important that we demonstrate our gratitude and recognition of the important work they were doing. And then in addition to this, we also supported business in a number of ways. One was through loans that we were making available, part of which the loans were forgivable, 25% if it was paid back within a certain period of time, and the loans were up to $40,000, as well as the wage subsidy. So we provided for those businesses that qualified a 75% wage subsidy that the federal government would pay to employees. And this is all about ensuring that that employer-employee relationship was maintained. And we know that this is very important so that when recovery comes, when the time for recovery comes, which now we're in and embarking upon, that relationship maintained a strong relationship, so recovery would be stronger. We would be able to bounce back quicker. And so that wage subsidy is a 75% of wages, up to a maximum, of course, for a 12-week period. And tremendous response from businesses with respect to the importance of this and how it's helped many of them get through. Well, there are many things to be learned from this experience. The most important one for me is the importance of collaboration. You know, one of the first things I did was to convene meetings with my provincial and territorial partners, as well as industry and labor. And us coming together and hearing the voices of everyone, having everyone invited to the table, has been absolutely invaluable. You know, we heard the need for ensuring that we took an evidence-based approach to employee safety. And, you know, the stress level amongst employees was very high, so this is why this evidence-based approach was really important. And the Canadian Centre of Occupational Health and Safety was there to help provide, with the support of the Public Health Agency of Canada, sector-specific tips or guidance in order to keep employees safe. And so they've provided these materials. They have a website, they have a portal for sharing that everyone across the country can contribute to, as well as to access. And this all came about through collaboration and partnership. So extremely important that all the voices are heard. And I would share one story from that. And it was one of the partners at the table that said normally what would take us weeks, months, years to resolve, we are resolving here in days. And that's the spirit of collaboration that is there, as well as the importance of recognition that we're all on the same page, which is keeping employees safe with a strong economic recovery. Well, I have a deep appreciation and gratitude for all workers across this country that have made it possible for Canadians to survive this very challenging time. And those are workers that are keeping the supply chains going, enabling food to be put on the table, medicines to be obtained, healthcare supports to be there. And so it's really critical that we ensure that these employees are kept safe. And we as a government worked very quickly, put in measures immediately, had the dialogues that I spoke about. So I want to conclude by saying that we need to continue that. We need to continue to ensure that as we head towards now economic recovery and bringing businesses back, that employee safety is first and foremost, and together we can work collaboratively to ensure that employees are going to be protected and businesses are going to be able to come back strong.